Hello, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Welcome to Navigating Social Life and Safety Concerns in School, facilitated by me, Rebecca Anuru, on behalf of Black Girls Smile, Inc. I am Rebecca Anuru. I am a social worker as well as a public health practitioner, and soon to be working to get my doctorate in psychology. And I have a business called Dream Keep Consulting that I try to help people love hood Black children better, and that's why I'm here in general. But we do a lot of workshops and stuff like that, and this is part of it. Our agenda for this video is to go over our friendship and peers, think about healthy boundaries, think about and honor what makes us feel good and safe, so defining safety, as well as covering self-advocacy, conflict resolution, and safety planning. So we got some tips and tricks for you to navigate that as you think about going back to school. I will ask that you grab a pen and paper to help get your thoughts down outside of your head. Honestly, it just makes life a lot easier if you can just jot things down as you watch. So, in your teen years, friendships are super, super, super important, and they're actually super natural to be important. So we are hardwired that when we get into our adolescence, we start thinking about what does it mean to hang around people? What does it mean to be around people our own age? How do we want to show up in space? How do we want to look? How do we want to think? How do we want to act? So all of this is really important, being able to compare ourselves to people, being able to do things together, and learn how to be good friends is really important to all of our growth and development. So literally right now, your friendships are the most important relationships in your life, and they should be. You influence your friends, and they also influence you. So you should be able to think about specifically honoring yourself within those relationships as well, but also thinking about the effect you can have on other people as well. Your relationships are allowed to change a lot and quickly. And I want to note that because in our teen years, we tend to make friends quickly, lose friends quickly, or change our friends groups, cliques, all that stuff. That's very natural. And it's okay if you just change your mind about how you want to engage with someone. It's perfectly fine. When we're talking about peers, that may not always include your friendships. Peers are just people that are around your age. So you'll be close to some people you won't be as close to. It's about trust, it's about communication, it's about how you are showing up with other people. So again, I'm going to keep saying to honor yourself and honor your perspectives in general so that you can do that well. So what your peers do, even if they're not your friends, are likely to influence your decisions and choices. So how people are moving around your school or in your neighborhood or acting and behaving, you're probably going to be influenced by that stuff. So even if you're not close to these people, you're probably actually paying attention enough. And it's also normal to want acceptance from your peers. So if you go to a party, for example, or you're in school and you're in class and someone is not taking a liking to you or something, like it's normal to feel as if you want them to accept you, but that doesn't define you, okay? When we're thinking about it though, we want to be strategic. If we want to think about how best to show up in our relationships with other people, we want to be thinking about who we are, the container of who we are, all of who we are. So we want to be thinking about what it means to set healthy boundaries. So boundaries can help you gain your self respect, help you set clear expectations for other people. It can make sure that you actually take care of yourself better and be a lot less stressed. That's the great thing. That's a great thing for all of us in our post-COVID and middle of COVID life. So we should be trying to reduce that burnout, really um, work on serving ourselves and honoring ourselves as well. So you can't be in community with people if you're not taking care of yourself first. All right. So there are 6 basic types of boundaries. Material just means your stuff. What do you want to do with your stuff? How do you want your stuff to be treated? Do you want to share? Physical means that your body is your own. You get to have your own personal space. You get to have your own privacy as well. Mental just means that you believe what you believe. You have a right to have your own opinions and thoughts and critical thinking skills on to how you interpret the world, and it does not have to align with anybody else's, honestly. So make sure that you know how you feel about things, what you're thinking through some things, okay? When we think about boundaries and enforcing them with other people, it can be really hard to think about, like, oh, well, I don't want to hurt their feelings, or I feel like I want them to to do this, or but they don't want to do it. You can make the decision to actually say, I respect your opinions about these things, but this is my life, my decision. You can say what your time parameters for everything is. You can always set boundaries. It can be in a work setting, it can be in a school setting, it can be anywhere, but you have the right to those boundaries being said and respected. So even if it may be hard to have that conversation with people that love you, feel free to actually still keep having those conversations, okay? Our next boundary that we're thinking about are emotional boundaries. You get to feel how you feel. There's nothing that says that your feelings are not valid. Your feelings might not always be true or accurate to reality, but they are definitely yours and you can have them. But you are also responsible for how you react to your emotions. So be careful that you're not spilling over on other people. Another form of boundaries are sexual boundaries. So you don't have to do anything that you are uncomfortable with, and you can take your time and make those decisions as they come to you. And then our last version of boundaries are spiritual boundaries. If you believe in a higher power of some sort, that is your own relationship with that power. Nobody else has the right to infringe upon those beliefs, and you get to experiment with that as you see fit. So when we're thinking about safety, boundaries are a tool to create safety for yourself. So like this quote, if you think about boundaries as a fence to protect your garden, you lush, you're great, you're awesome, you're bright, you're all of these things. And boundaries help to build to protect that. So you should be trying to encourage those boundaries because they're a form of self-care. Safety means to be free from and protected from harm. All of you deserves to feel safe and secure. So your body, your emotions, your mental health, your actions, your goals, dreams, energy, your well-being, your time, your money, all of that is yours. You get to define the parameters around that. And if something's off and you feel that, you get to honor that as well. Part of establishing those boundaries and knowing what safety means for you is to really think about what you like and what you dislike. So there are some ways to just check in with yourself about that. How do you feel when something happens? Are you tense? Are you loose? Are you comfortable? those are signs that we may or may not like something. You can talk to other people. They might have the same preferences as you. They might have wildly different preferences as you, but talking through things can help you see a little clearer if you need to. Asking questions. So, again, as an extension of talking to other people or as an extension of your experience of something, you are allowed to ask questions to be like, I ain't really clear about what's happening right now. Can you help me out? Like, so that people can help clarify where they're moving and how they're acting around you overall. So you get to define what that safety feels like for you. And if you get an answer that you don't like, you can be like, oh, this isn't for me. And that's perfectly fine. You can also negotiate things with others. Sometimes it takes compromise to get things to work, and sometimes it just doesn't work. So you can step away from things that don't work. And then listening to yourself, firstly. Like, if you can just take the time to honor how you're feeling in your body, listen to other people as well when you're thinking about other people, but honor how you are listening to you. What are your thoughts saying? What's racing through your mind? Are you feeling uneasy? Those are things that you should be able to sit with, though they can be uncomfortable sometimes. So when we think about that self love and that self honoring, we want to think about self advocacy. So it's really about understanding your needs, knowing what kind of support you need, and expressing the needs to other people, because how's anybody supposed to help you if they don't know you need help? So you need to be able to say, oh, this doesn't feel right. Even if you don't have all the words, it's really important that you learn about yourself, your rights, and communicate those things. Be a leader for yourself. You are the only you in the world, and you get to honor that. When we're thinking about conflicts, we want to think about, so with conflict escalation, pretty much there's levels to it. Like, we can start at a disagreement, like, oh no, this isn't for me, but we can end up in a place where I gotta completely separate myself from these things and stuff like that. So you want to think about and be intentional about when you're watching something between you and another person escalate, because that's how we get bad blow-ups and things like that. We want to prevent those things, right? So ways to minimize those conflicts are stepping back and thinking, just reflecting, understanding what your goals are for being in communication with these people, the person that you may be having a conflict in with. Listen to understand the person. Don't try to listen to respond. Communicate your feelings without placing blame on anybody, because even if there is blame's not going to help you resolve a conflict. It's just not going to help. Be aware of your own defensiveness. Know your triggers. Know what sets you off. Acknowledge your own assumptions as well. So again, know what you're bringing to those conversations. Seek common ground. Is there something y'all can agree on? Understand the points, the other's point of view by asking clarifying questions. Again, we've mentioned this. Know that conflict can be healthy sometimes, because you're not the same as the people around you. There will be times where y'all ain't agreeing on stuff just because it's natural to have very different viewpoints from other people. So just know that it's okay sometimes. And then separate people from problems. Sometimes there are issues that it may seem like a person is causing, but it might be something way bigger happening, and you just got to be aware of that. Okay? So another tool of enforcing boundaries and taking care of yourself is safety planning. So you want to think about, if something happens to you, if you are triggered or harmed in some way, how can I take care of myself? So what are your warning signs or your triggers? What are your coping skills? Even especially in the event of a mental health crisis or any other type of lack of safety, what gets in the way of using your skills when you're trying to deal with things? Who are the people that you trust to reach out to? And how can you keep yourself and your surroundings safe? Do you need to go to another room? Do you need to leave the entire building? Do you need to go home? Assess that for yourself. Are there professionals or people that care about you that you can contact? And what are some emergency numbers that you can call? For example, in this image, we see that the crisis text line is 741-741 if you text home to that number. So that's just one example of the many phone hotlines and text and chat hotlines that there are for if there is something that is happening. So this is another example of a safety plan. So again, the warning signs, people you can trust, things you can do to take your mind off things, aka coping skills. Um, who can you go to for that as well? And then also you have strengths. So try to center those and remember them because you deserve safety. And people that love you will make sure that you feel safe as well. Thank you so much for watching, and you have a wonderful, wonderful school year. Okay.